first story begins on our last prep hike.
Prep hike for what?
Prep hike for Philmont. So this whole story is about Philmont, going to Philmont, New Mexico. I'm sure everybody's heard about that. But yeah, so it's the last hike. It's called the Mishawaka. It's a long 2-day hike, one of the hardest ones that we do. But this time we had a pretty good time. So we got to our camp on Saturday. Saturday, the middle day, we got to camp, we set up, we have a great time, cooking dinner. Another crew comes in that we didn't even know about, came into the same campsite and set up less than 50 feet away from us. It was a good night. It didn't rain on us too bad, decent temperature, it was all around a good hike. So everybody gets in their tents that night, goes to sleep. And I was tired from the day, I was the crew leader, so I was I was tired. So I slept the whole night, did not wake up once. I get up the next morning, and everybody's like, what was that? Did y'all hear that last night? It sounded like a screaming lady or something. And so everybody's talking, and the other crew heard it too. Everybody was like, oh my gosh, it sounded like a lady crying or a baby crying last night. And of course, Brian, being the geologist, wilderness individual of the group, he's like,
Snakeologist.
Snakeologist, that's another one. Heck yeah. He was like, it must have been a fox. That's what it was a fox. That's what made the screaming noise, had to be a fox, don't worry about it. So everybody's like, okay, whatever, it's what the snakeologist says, so it has to be correct. And so, we get to the pavilion, and of course Ryan was with us. Not to mention, first of all, that everybody heard this screaming coming from the direction of Ryan's tent. That should have been the first clue that something was going on. But, no, I don't think anybody said anything. Some of them were thinking, but nobody said anything. So we get to the pavilion and get done with the rest of the day, get back from the hike, and everything's good. Everything's good. And then we get to Philmont. And Ryan, it's one of the first nights there at the base camp. And Ryan's like, guys, I've got a surprise for you. And he pulls out this little black skeleton, or like a skull. And he's like, guys, this is an Aztec death whistle. And then apparently that was what the sound was that we heard at Mishawaka, an Aztec death whistle. And he didn't tell anyone. So we get to Philmont, and he's like, guys, I can't keep it secret anymore. We have to scare our ranger and our sister crew. Because at Philmont, you get a sister crew, which is a crew that pretty much follows your trek with you. So you usually camp close to them. And you also get a ranger. So the ranger stays with you for the first 3 days. Ours came back to visit us a couple times, so that was fun. So we get to the first camp, and we have the ranger with us. And we find out the ranger is terrified of the dark. She was like, I'm not getting out of my tent in the morning until the sun's out. I'm like, okay. So it's the first night, and where were we? Uraka Mesa? We were close.
Side of Uraka Mesa.
Side of Uraka Mesa. Uraka Mesa is known to be haunted. It's known to have UFO sightings. Uraka Mesa is not the best place to be if you're scared of the dark and or afraid of that stuff. So we're laying down, and Ryan's like, okay guys, tonight is the night. So we all lay down, we go to bed, and about 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard Ryan's alarm go off, a little buzzing. And I was like, here he comes. And so he does it. I didn't hear anybody say anything immediately after it happened, but we woke up the next morning, and everybody was talking. The sister crew was talking about it, the ranger was talking about it. I think she kind of knew it was us, but I don't think we told her for a while. So anyway, we keep going. We wait a couple nights to do it, then we do it again. Eventually,
At fish camp.
at fish camp, we did it again. Fish camp was fun. Here's what we did at fish camp. So every night you have to set up bear bags. Okay, bear bags, store your food. You got to keep it safe, away from the bears. And so me, the whole crew, went up to put the bear bags in. We put it up, and there were not a lot of good spots to tie the rope off. So we tied the rope off to the best spots we could do. Like huge boulders that no way a bear could move the huge boulders. And so we put the bear bags up, we go back, we've got done with dinner, we're doing our little campfire circle, and the camp staff comes up to us. And they're like, hey, don't mean to bother y'all, but y'all's bear bags are not properly secured. And so everybody's kind of like, you sure? So we go over there, they're fine, but apparently they want them higher. We were not very happy about that at all, including Ryan. Ryan had a long day that day. He was not happy with it. So Ryan was like, tonight's the night. they're gonna die. So Ryan wakes me up at about 3 in the morning, and we were camped, I don't know, 200 feet away from, more than that, 300 or 400 feet away from the staff cabin. And Ryan's like, let's go. We're going.
1,000 yards.
1,000 yards. He's like, we're going to the staff cabin. So we crawl over there at like 3 in the morning and blow it as loud as we can. And we heard them kind of running around trying to figure out what it was. So we ran back to camp, and then we went over to the sister crew and blew it like 10 feet from their closest tent. Anyways, that was great. We had a lot of fun with the Aztec death whistle. We get back to, well, there's another story. So a ranger, just wait, this is the best one. The ranger comes back to visit us on the second to last day. And we're at Cypher's Mine. And they don't have any tents at Cypher's Mine, it's all Adirondacks. Well, she's a lone female ranger. So she can't sleep in the Adirondacks with us or any other crews, so she has to sleep on the front porch of the main cabin in the open air, totally open air. And Ron's like, we got it. So once again, we get out at 3 a.m., blow it as loud as we can, and she's like, I knew what it was, but it still scared the crap out of me.
Actually, you did.
So what happened at fish camp? You didn't tell the whole story.
Yeah.
What I forget.
This is what the sister crew did.
What did the sister crew do the next day?
Oh, this is the best part. Okay. So we get to Apache Springs, which is the next camp we were going to. And we're on the porch, we're talking with the staff, and the staff have radios, they can communicate all over the camp. And our sister crew comes up. And if you see wildlife, or hear wildlife, you're supposed to report it. And so the sister crew comes up to the staff and they're like, we have to report a mountain lion. We're like, this is great, we've got to report the mountain lion, it can't get any better than this. So we go off and do the archery, and we get our supplies, and we come back down the main cabin, and there's a funny looking SUV there. So we start talking to some of the people in the cabin. The camp director is at Apache Springs looking for, who was it? It was the camp director, wasn't it?
No, it was CEO of all Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
CEO of Boy Scouts was there, and we just had a cruise night.
Well, because apparently, not only was it a mountain lion, but it was following them because they
They'd heard it the night before.
And then, so we go to climb Tooth of Time, the last day, right? Big hike to the Tooth of Time, and we get to the top, and it's 4 in the morning. It's early. We're the first ones up there. We're always the first ones up there. But we know our sister crew's gonna come follow us. So as soon as we see their flashlights at the bottom, Ryan's like, let's blow it. So he blows as loud as he can. Pitch black, dark out, and the sister crew's coming up, and we just sit there and wait.
They just stopped.
Then they stop.
all the moving look like
The first thing they say to us once they get up there, did you guys hear the death bird? We ended up giving the death whistle to our ranger once we got back to base camp. So for the remaining months of the film, there was a death whistle on the property, just tormenting crews.
And might I add, when we got back, Ryan made a whole, like, how many was it? You made like
There's a few floating around. But anyways, sorry for the long-winded story, but
That's a good story.